I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special.
Say there's nothing to do, but damn, like, what else do you got to do? He's a three-time undisputed champion.
Man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you got to really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So, skillful, yes. But this and this.
Many fighters admit they're wary of Terence Crawford for a host of compelling reasons. Even Roy Jones Jr. noted that Canelo appeared tense just standing across from him during their face-off. What makes Crawford so intimidating isn't only his elite skill but also his unnerving composure. He calmly studies every movement, rarely gets caught clean, and punishes even the smallest mistakes with flawless timing, leaving opponents feeling trapped and out of options.
And that stare down that we talked about when I told you either he's not ready for this or he trying to Bud. He wasn't trying to little boy Bud. He really was afraid. Well, not afraid, but he was worried about Bud. And Bud knew that. And Bud being the older guy, Bud kind of looked him in his eye and made him turn away first. That was a victory for Bud. That was Bud's first victory. Anytime that happens, if something else don't come around or something else don't happen to undo that, you got a problem.
Paulie Malignaggi praised Terence Crawford for building one of the most extraordinary resumes in modern boxing. He noted that Crawford has become an undisputed champion across 3 divisions, an almost unprecedented feat achieved by taking on top-tier opponents rather than easy matchups. Not only did Crawford's victories stand out to Paulie, but also his ability to dominate while avoiding significant punishment, rarely receiving a clean hit. With 41 wins, 31 knockouts, and no losses, Malignaggi called Crawford's career historic. He emphasized that Crawford's recent triumph over Canelo Alvarez marked more than just another win. To him, it signaled the beginning of a new era, echoing the dominance Floyd Mayweather once displayed. In Paulie's view, Crawford has now emerged as the defining fighter of his generation.
Flawless. I mean, Terence Crawford has had an amazing career against a lot of very good fighters and world class fighters, and honestly has barely lost a round. When you look back at Bud Crawford's career, there is something really special. It's one of those things now, because now I've now seen back-to-back generations of Floyd Mayweather and Bud Crawford, and man, you know, it's one of those things where now I understand why the people that lived in the Ray Leonard era say, you know, oh, wish we could see Ray Leonard against Mayweather and how that would be. Because it just leaves such an empty feeling when you have such special fighters that were in different generations, and you saw both of them. You know, I saw the entirety of the Mayweather generation. I saw the entirety of the Bud Crawford generation. Just incredible. Really, really incredible. And I know Mayweather gets a lot of hate, but for me, he's a tremendous fighter. And Terence Bud Crawford is in that realm as well. And it's a fight we'll never get to see. So what are we going to do? You know, it'll be up to the fantasy fights, you know, but let's get into it, man. I want to get into the undercard as well and some of my thoughts on the Netflix show. But let's get into the main event first. Crawford really boxed very, very well, very, very intelligently. The question mark was what happens when Crawford gets hit cleanly. I'm not sure he got hit cleanly at the whole fight. You know, he got hit with some partial shots. Some shots landed cleanly, but by the time Canelo started landing anything cleanly, I think he was hesitant because he was getting countered so much that he was taking some of the steam off the shots in order to hope to be more accurate. Because even late in the fight, there were a couple of shots that Canelo landed, but they barely moved.
Brian described Terence Crawford's performance against Canelo Alvarez as nothing short of extraordinary, highlighting the rare blend of offense and defense he displayed. In most bouts, fighters tend to shine in one area while leaving the other exposed, but Crawford excelled in both simultaneously. Against Canelo, he neutralized attacks with tight defense and slick movement, then seamlessly shifted to offense to exploit every opening. Brian emphasized that this complete skill set is what separates Crawford from other champions. He can dismantle an opponent's weapons while generating his own momentum. For him, it was remarkable to watch a fighter not only avoid damage but also dominate an elite opponent with such composure and precision.
See, I think that for me, I watch defense as much as I watch offense. So
yeah,
like I thought like watching Bud catch those shots off his glove.
he looked amazing.
So amazing.
Yeah, he looked good.
Yeah. he'd go to a body and he'd catch that and come up with an uppercut. You know, just all those things that seem.
He looked great.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody do that to ever.
No one has. Yeah, he's the best.
Canelo. Ever.
Yeah, he's the best.
And I think he would do that to Canelo on his best day. His way. Canelo said it. He goes, I couldn't figure him out.
No.
Which is why he probably won't fight him again. In a way.
They'll fight again.
You think so?
The payday. Yeah. But so you're going to get Canelo because the money's in Canelo Crawford, the rematch.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it, but I want Crawford to get paid, so might as well do it.
Andre Ward offered glowing praise for Terence Crawford, calling him the most skillful fighter of his generation. Ward, himself a master technician, highlighted Crawford's mindset, noting that once Terence sets a goal, he'll go to any length to achieve it. In Ward's view, the only way to stop a fighter like Crawford is to genuinely hurt him in the ring, because tactical tricks alone will never be enough. He pointed to Crawford's adaptability, stance switching, and composure under pressure as qualities that place him in a rare class of fighters capable of imposing their will regardless of circumstance. Ward's perspective underscores that Crawford's dominance is no accident but the result of determination, grit, and relentless commitment to overcoming every challenge.
Somebody that, like, I can bet the house on, but
Who's the most skilled fighter today?
Bud is definitely one of them, for sure. Me and him, we so much alike in our mentality. Like, soon as I see this dude, he come in the room or I come in the room, we start arguing about basketball, wrestling, anything, bro. Like, man, you can't, man, you looking small. What you mean I'm looking small? You looking small. Like, it's just that, like, you got to really hurt that dude to turn him away and to try to stop him from doing what he want to do. So, skillful, yes. But this and this, it's different, man.
Crawford's journey has been deeply personal, shaped by the contrasting influences of his parents. He often recalls how his father predicted he would one day become an undisputed world champion, planting that belief in him from an early age. His mother, on the other hand, remained skeptical and was never fully convinced he would reach the top. Rather than discouraging him, her doubt became his fuel. Every time Crawford stepped into the ring, he carried a determination to prove her wrong. With each victory and championship belt, he not only fulfilled his father's vision but also earned his mother's pride. Today, Crawford reflects on that path with satisfaction, proud that his success has brought both validation and respect from his family.
My dad used to tell my mom I was going to be a world champion.
I told him,
how'd that make you feel? It filled me with rage. And every time I stepped foot in the ring or anything that I ever did, I just wanted to win so bad so I can prove a point to her.
I paid the kids, I said, if y'all can whoop Bud, I give y'all $10 a piece.
You went out on the street.
Yeah.
What's now Bud Crawford Street.
Yeah.
And offered $10 to anyone who can kick my son's butt.
Yep.
And a lot of takers.
Yeah, kids in the neighborhood. Couldn't nobody whoop them.
What did he tell you then?
He told you, Mom, I told you I'm the best.
Crawford explained that he never aimed to become undisputed at 154 pounds because he didn't see enough meaningful competition in that division. For him, undisputed status isn't just about collecting belts, it's about winning them against the toughest opponents available. Rather than staying at 154, he made the bold decision to pursue challenges at 168, where bigger names and stronger fighters could further solidify his legacy. His refusal to move down highlights his confidence in testing himself at higher weight classes, proving that his career is defined by risk-taking and ambition rather than comfort or easy wins.
Has being undisputed at 154 ever crossed your mind at this point that you're at in your career?
Not at all. Because I'm looking at the landscape of the 154-pound division. There's a lot of great fighters, but there's not a lot of defining fights at 154. There's not a lot of legacy fights at 154. You know, when I'm looking at the landscape of 154, I beat, what's his name?
Majimov?
No,
154?
No. The champion that just knocked out Tim Tszyu.
Oh, Bachram. Yeah.
Okay, so Bachram, they're going to say, who was Bachram?
Facts.
He knocked out Tim Tszyu that already had losses.
What would you name with Fedora, though?
Without Fedora already been knocked out.
Yeah, he did.
So, along my career, I've been criticized and people have taken credit away from me just to try to diminish my accomplishments, just off of pure hate.
Crawford has often taken moments to showcase the belts he's earned, not as mere bragging rights, but as a testament to years of dedication and sacrifice. To him, each title represents more than a win. It reflects the struggles, discipline, and perseverance that brought him to the top. By standing with those belts, he reminds both fans and critics that nothing was handed to him. Every piece of gold was fought for against doubt, adversity, and tough opposition. His collection of titles stands as proof of his effort and belief in himself, while also inspiring the next generation of fighters to chase greatness with the same determination.
I'm just reflecting on my accomplishments at my mama's house. That's where all my belts at. You know, hard work, dedication. Things that y'all favorite fighters, some of them. Yeah. So I see why y'all mad. See why y'all mad. Look at that one right there. This where it all started at. Right here. This one. In Texas. In Texas, baby. Don't hate. Just congratulate.
Virgil Ortiz Jr., a rising star in his own right, heaped praise on Crawford after his latest fight, calling the performance absolutely beautiful. Ortiz said Crawford has done more than enough to prove himself and no longer needs to pursue new opponents to validate his greatness. In Ortiz's view, Crawford's legacy is already secure, and further challenges aren't necessary for him to be remembered as one of the sport's all-time best. Hearing such admiration from a young, ambitious fighter underscores how deeply Crawford's dominance has impacted the next generation, leaving them inspired and in awe of what he has already achieved.
Perfect fight, actually. He neutralized all of Canelo's strengths. He knew that he was going to look for the right hook, because I believe that they've been looking at Crawford being hurt by that right hook before. So he neutralized it. He used his jab really well. He boxed beautifully. And, man, I mean, he did everything right. Yeah.
Now, let's talk about Crawford first, because obviously we can get to Canelo later. But in the post-fight, they asked him, a media member asked him if he'd come back down to 154 to fight Boots. Obviously, in the same token, I took it as, all right, Boots or Virgil, right? And he said he's not coming back down to 154. What are your thoughts on him not coming down? And what do you think he will more than likely do next?
I don't know what he's gonna do. I did read something that said he'll go down to 160, you know. And I think that is definitely a possibility, and that fight can still happen at 160. And as far as what he's gonna do now, I mean, I don't know. He kind of beat the final boss of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's kind of nothing. I don't want to say there's nothing to do, but damn, like, I mean, what else do you got to do? He's a 3-time undisputed champion. He made some good money. At this point, he's just a free player right now, I guess. He can do whatever he wants.
Crawford's influence on boxing has sparked a ripple effect, with fighters from multiple divisions now eager to challenge him. Sebastian Fundora, known for his towering frame and relentless style, has already voiced his interest in facing the champion. Many are calling this the Crawford effect. Once a fighter reaches true dominance, others line up to test themselves and gain credibility by sharing the ring with him. Rather than Crawford having to pursue big fights, opponents are now coming to him, a reversal that underscores just how much power and pull he holds in today's boxing landscape.
Effect is in full effect. Okay? It's in full effect. Terence Crawford now is a wanted man. Prior to that, everybody said Terence Crawford is not a draw. Terence Crawford can't sell. Terence Crawford is not a big money fight. Now, we have an interesting situation brewing. The former unified WBO, WBC, junior middleweight world champion, Mexican superstar or star boxer, the towering inferno, Sebastian Fundora, refused to fight Terence Bud Crawford, who is now, no doubt, first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, the pound for pound king, 5-division world champion, 3-division undisputed world champion with a record of 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. When Terence Crawford dominated and stopped The Truth, Errol Spence Jr., in July of 2023, Terence Crawford petitioned to move up and fight the Towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. Okay? And Sebastian Fundora has zero interest